Hey grippers, welcome back to the Death Grip Garage. It's wintertime in Iowa and that means it's maintenance time. Today we're going to be checking valve clearances and do a leak down test on my 2018 KTM 350 EXC-F. Looking at what we've gotten before, made a little chart here. So we are currently at 287.5 hours, 9,199 miles, and did the Northern California BDR last summer fall, and that was I think around 1,600 miles. Last winter we were at 209.7, 6,375 miles. Everything checked out fine as far as the leak down in the valves, and I've got my other history. I've adjusted one valve one time. I don't know, at 138.7, 4,000 miles. I had to adjust the left front exhaust just a little bit. So I've got a couple that are getting close to the factory spec. So we're going to see if they have to be adjusted this time. And I just started doing leak down with my my checks last winter. So we'll see if that's changed at all from last time. I'm hoping I can get maybe one more season out of this top end. It's the original top end in the bike. Other than that one valve adjustment that I've made, the motor's just been perfect. It still runs and starts just like brand new. I'm not going to make this video into a full step-by-step tutorial on how to check valves or how to do a leak down test. I'm mostly focused on the results, but we'll hit some of the high points as we go here. So first of all, I've got the bike stripped down, got the valve cover off. Pretty straightforward on these bikes, makes it pretty easy to do. The next thing you got to do is make sure you're at top dead center, and the way we do that is I turn it over and make sure that the cam lobes are not pressing down on any of the valves. Camshafts look really good in there, no scoring, no weird markings. And then you want to make sure that the two dashes on the cam gears are lined up with the top of the head, and you can say they are. And the other check that we'll do is looking in this hole down here. See if we can, probably won't be able to see it, but if you look through that hole right there after I removed that Allen head bolt, there's a notch in the flywheel, and we're going to use this bolt that came out of that case, and we removed the thick washer that was on that bolt, and now we'll take this bolt and we'll put it back in that hole, and that will lock the motor at top dead center. Not really critical for just doing a valve check, but for doing the leak down, and if we do have to adjust a valve, you will want it locked at top dead center anyway. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to show checking on one of them. We're going to check this left front exhaust. This is the one that I adjusted a couple winters ago. So I'm going to use my tapered Tusk feeler gauges. The spec for the exhaust valve is 0.13 to 0.18 millimeters. So I usually start with the thin end of that. So I'm starting with a 0.13 millimeter. We're going to slide that in between the camshaft and the little rocker arm that's under there, or lifter arm, or whatever you want to call it. Slides in easily, so definitely not on the tight end. All right, so then the next one I've got in my set is a 0.15, so we'll see how that fits. And I would say it slides in easily. There's just the slightest grab on that. We're going to try the next size that I've got, which I think is a 0.18. Let's get that one flipped up here. All right, checking this with my 0.18. Yeah, the 0.18 will not go. It will not go. So larger than 0.15, smaller than 0.18. I would say actually we're probably sitting right at that 0.16. Let me see if I've got another feeler gauge that we can try. So here in my other set, I have a 0.152 millimeter feeler gauge. Not tapered, but it will go in on this valve anyway. So we're going to try that one. Slides in easily with just a little bit of drag. So I'm going to call that 0.16 on the left front, which is going to be just perfect. And I had written down 0.15 last time. That's probably because that's the gauge I had. So I'm going to do, what I'll do is note this as, let's see here, 0.150 plus. All right, let's check the other ones. And just a little tip for you guys, if you're having trouble getting the entire set of feeler gauges in to check a valve, just take the feeler gauge out that you want to use. They almost always have a thumb nut, take it off, take the one out that you want to use, put it back later. Makes it much easier to deal with. All right, here's the results of our valve check. So as we saw, we were loose on the 0.15 feeler gauge, so good on the left front exhaust. The right front exhaust tested almost exactly the same. On our intake side, I could easily get in the 0.10 feeler gauge that I've got, and my 0.127 from another set, it also slid through. I could not get in my 0.13. So again, all right, and that's almost exactly what I had last time. On the right side intake, I could easily get my 0.10 feeler gauge to slide through. I could not get my 0.127 to slide through, and I really don't have anything in between. Based on how easily the 0.10 slid through, and based on the results that I got last time, I'm going to call that 0.11. It's starting to get toward the tight end on that one valve. Let's see, where were we at? 0.31. So it has tightened. That one has tightened up just a little bit, but it hasn't tightened up over the course of a season and 3,000 some miles. So at this point, I don't think I'm going to change it. We'll see what the leak down says. Maybe the top end's coming off anyway, but at this point, I don't think I'm going to update that. We've still got a little bit of wiggle room. If there was another one that was close, I'd probably go ahead and do it. But with just one valve and a little bit of leeway there, I'm going to leave those alone. All right, leak down test. Let's see if this works with this head mount that I've got for my phone. So I've got the Motion Pro leak down tester. First, we've got an air supply running into it. First, you have to zero out the gauge, and we'll make sure that goes back to 0. All right, now we'll head over to the bike. This hose is a pain to get threaded in there, but it will thread in there. Just be very careful and not mess up your threads. Bring it over. Right there. I'd say right about 7% is what we've got. So I'm going to still call this a healthy engine. Now, if this was bad, one of the things you can start doing is listening to your exhaust, listen to your intake side, listen to your breather to see where it is leaking from, whether it's leaking from the exhaust valves, the intake valves, or past the piston into the crankcase. But with 7%, I'm very happy with that number, and we'll let this thing go another season. At least this is Motion Pro's chart for percentage of leakage and what that means for the engine. 0 to 5%, they're saying engine is in excellent condition. 6% to 14%, engine is in good condition. And then anything above 14%, they start putting it in the poor category. So again, 7%, very happy with that. All right, we're going to call that a wrap on this one. Everything's looking good for the season. No valve adjustments needed, and we're going to leave the motor together for another season. We'll see what leak down looks like next fall. I think the only other thing I'll probably do as I'm doing this is, since I've got valve cover off and it's a lot easier to do right now, I will put a new spark plug in it. This is what the plug looked like coming out. Not too bad, maybe a little on the dark side, but overall not too bad. And we'll have a toast here. You can't lose time, but you can certainly waste it. Cheers, everybody.